Glock switches are all the rage right now, according to the anti-gun left, and because of them, Chicago and Everytown are trying to sue Glock. The ATF tried to extort Glock into changing their design, and they've now become the favorite target of pretty much every other gun control group, with some politicians even introducing laws to ban the popular guns. When a congressional subcommittee demanded answers on the ATF's actions against Glock and their work with gun control groups on the Chicago lawsuit, the Biden administration told them they should be focusing on investigating Glock switches instead. But it turns out that the DOJ was already doing that themselves, as the government just seized 355 websites that they say are tied to illegal Glock switches from China, citing the NFA and trademark law. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So-called Glock switches and conversion kits are, of course, illegal under the NFA. Simply put, all Glock switches were made after 1986, and because of the Hughes Amendment, the machine gun registry was closed, and thus no person can legally own a Glock switch. As for suppressors, those are just flat-out NFA items that require a $200 tax stamp from the ATF, but there have been more than a handful of people caught buying, quote, fuel filters from China and having the ATF come knocking at their door. I've covered it a couple of times. This time around, the DOJ went right to the source. But before I jump into all of the goodies that the DOJ pulled out of the illegal internet goodie bag, this video is brought to you with the help of Blackout Coffee Company, which kept me going today through a playdate, a naptime tantrum, 2 broken laptops, and a personal Karen moment, all on top of trying to keep all of you up to date on the Second Amendment news. That is to say that their coffee is very good stuff, and even better, they also support your rights through donating the proceeds from their partner roast to some of your favorite gun rights groups directly. And as a bonus, every purchase through my link helps to support the channel. So to get a cup of coffee, tea, or hot chocolate that you can be proud of and know that it will get you through your day, go to blackoutcoffee.com/libertydoll. So a quiet little press release came out of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Massachusetts, of course, last week, detailing how the DOJ has actually been targeting individuals, businesses, and websites dealing these illegal parts since August 2023. So for over a year, and yet they still went after Glock personally while they did it. According to the court documents, in August 2023, federal authorities began targeting multiple websites, businesses, and individuals selling, offering for sale, importing, and exporting machine gun conversion devices in violation of federal law. It is also alleged that law enforcement engaged in undercover purchases from the website domains, promoting the sale of NFA-prohibited items, confirming that the domains were being used to sell illegal switches and silencers. The contraband items were then allegedly shipped from China to government-controlled mailboxes in the United States with false descriptions of their contents, such as necklace and toys, in an effort to conceal the alleged illegal importation. According to the press release, some of these websites also sold the infamous fuel filters that have gotten some folks in trouble with the ATF too, as I mentioned earlier. In the next section, the press release actually lays out some facts that dismantle some of the popular gun control and anti-Glock arguments. Case in point. These websites represent a large-scale, organized effort to import illegal switches and silencers that turn ordinary firearms into deadly automatic weapons. HSI has worked diligently with our partners to systematically dismantle this network of websites to uphold our nation's import laws and to preserve public safety, said Special Agent in Charge Michael J. Kroll for Homeland Security Investigations in New England. HSI cyber investigations work to keep illegal switches and silencers out of the hands of criminals who use them to commit violence and facilitate crime in our communities. The results of this investigation have, to date, resulted in the seizure of over 700 devices, which would convert a firearm into a machine gun, 87 illegal suppressors, 59 handguns, 36 long guns, as well as the seizure of 355 websites, which were used to facilitate the trafficking of these items. The proliferation of readily available devices which allow the illegal manufacturing of machine guns is a plague on our communities. The Postal Inspection Service is committed to working with our state and federal partners to identify those who use the Postal Service to traffic these weapons, remove these illicit items from the mail, and increase the safety of our communities and the Postal Service employees who serve them. Sorry, I just A Glock switch in a box is really going to endanger postal employees, but okay. Said Katie Larko Ward, Inspector in Charge, U.S. Postal Inspection Service, Boston Division. It is further alleged that many of the website domains trafficked counterfeited goods and unlawfully used the Glock Inc. trademark by offering purported Glock switches for sale. In reality, however, Glock Inc. has never manufactured switches. Yes, I am sure that IP and trademark law is really the concern here for the United States government. But as I said, there are some key points here to note. The DOJ acknowledges that first of all, Glock does not manufacture Glock switches, and thus Glocks are not on their own machine guns, contrary to some popular beliefs lately, unless you are purposefully buying a model that is full auto. B, the guns used by criminals are, in fact, typically illegal, which means gun control did not stop them. C, full autos are illegal despite government insistence these days that common use sporting rifles are full semi-auto death machines. And D, that Glock cooperated in this investigation. Those are all pretty vital bits of information, meaning that not only does the DOJ know that a lot of their arguments are full of shit, but also that the ATF knew that they were actively investigating illegal Glock switches coming from China, was working with Glock in that investigation, and still tried to blame Glock for the actions of these illegal sellers and website owners, trying to strong-arm them into changing their design, and still helped Chicago sue them after all of that, while twiddling their thumbs and saying, oh, we don't know what you're talking about. There's no collusion with gun control groups. Why don't you go investigate the thing that we are secretly investigating? Come on. Now, one of the things that we do talk about on this channel is how gun control proponents are always demanding more laws rather than having the current laws be enforced. So I cannot fault the DOJ for using millions of tax dollars to seize these websites, but if anything, it's more proof that gun control doesn't work, because if it did, they wouldn't have had 355 websites to seize, and it wouldn't have just been a drop in the bucket. Where there is a demand, if it's illegal, the black market will provide. Did prohibition teach them nothing? Especially in the day and age where it is easy to just pop one out of a 3D printer. Though, of course, the government is trying to get 3D printing companies to stop ghost guns and 3D printing of firearms and firearm parts now, but that's another topic for another day. But you know what? I will say, the thing that surprised me about this the most is that these parts are allegedly from China, and the government actually decided to stop it. I mean, I thought they were like BFFs right now, with all the politicians and legislators that somehow magically have CCP people in their staff suddenly and are getting investigated for it. Though I guess, they have to have a couple patsies. Anyways, that is it for this video, guys. I just thought this was funny. I mean, watch all of these websites just pop up with some tweak in the name. I mean, it's like, what, $10 to buy a domain? I don't know. Anyways, that is it for this video. Please do all of the algorithm things. You know what they are. I don't have to tell you. And as always, thanks for tuning in and happy shooting.